live.
It's true.
Yeah, yes, by video, by Zoom. If you'd like to see him live with his band Nerd Halen,
Yes.
how might we do that?
I'm in San Francisco this Friday night, opening for Enough's Enough at Bottom of the Hill. Nerd Halen will be there, San Francisco. Join us. And then tomorrow night, I'm at Flappers in Burbank, the beginning of a monthly residency that I'm doing at Flappers the last Wednesday of every month.
Wow.
The last hump day of every month. I will be in L.A. doing Flappers. I do an hour of improv stand-up, no prep.
Fantastic.
That's where I write. I write on stage.
That's
so.
And then that's what you then see on stage at Sexy Liberal.
Yes.
September 10th in D.C., September 24th
that's fresh.
Chicago.
That's not even that stuff. That's even more brand new because that will be topical to the moment.
Right.
That will be...
By October 22nd in L.A. with Adam Schiff and God knows who else.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
What Hal Sparks is going to be doing.
The griddle cakes of comedy, man. You gotta heat them up, get them out there, and then as soon as they're soaked in syrup, they're done.
Yep.
Move on.
And Hal has requested a plug-in for his guitar, so he will bring his guitar to the Sexy Liberal show too.
I have indeed.
Wait, it's not. Is it Florida Man or is it going to be something new?
Who knows?
I refuse to answer on the grounds that it may incriminate me. I'm just worried that they'll read my name out loud in Florida.
All right, Hal Sparks and sexyliberal.com for our tickets to see Hal with us on the Sexy Liberal tour. Okay, so speaking of Florida Man, so the guy with the biggest Medicare scam in history, they put that guy in charge of the Republican money.
I'm sorry. What Republican money? If you'll recall, Mitch McConnell caught all kinds of crap this week because he went, well, I think we got to come to the conclusion that we're not going to be doing real well. Let us.
I have that, you know what? I have to say, of all the Mitch McConnell impressions I've heard, that one where you're gargling marbles is my favorite. It's my new favorite.
I have to get new marbles every time because they disintegrate from the acid. It's that authentic.
The candidates are not that what, Mitch?
Right. They're running out. We don't have a good chance for lettuce. Anyway, so he got crap because he was like, we got to face the fact that we've got some fairly bad candidates. And then Trump comes out and yells at him like, maybe if you'd spend some money and your wife was to try to make deals off, like it's
fantastic.
It's somebody.
And Sean Hannity is saying Mitch McConnell should resign because it's his fault. Oh, fight.
It's so good. Like my nipples could cut glass right
I know,
now.
me
I'm
too.
Excited about it. It's fun. I will say it has all the energy of like a mom of one of my friends in Kentucky when I was growing up yelling this out the screen door of her trailer. Like it has all the presidential qualities. They're like, well, hey, maybe y'all, if you spend a little money and your wife wasn't trying to make all this money off of China, like it just like that's where the former president is now.
Yes.
He's just yelling out a screen door from a trailer with his hair wrapped up in a towel and like board shorts on that were left behind by some dude she met at a truck stop. You know.
Okay. New campaign filings for July reveal yet more serious money problems for the National Republican Senatorial Committee. The group led by Rick Scott, who is tasked with coordinating elections for Senate Republicans. This comes after another report that the NRSC canceled over $13 million in advertising class for the fall in the key states of Arizona, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. It also comes as Republican strategists are growing exasperated with Scott over how he's running the NRSC, spending resources from the group to promote himself and his controversial 11-point plan, which includes, blowing up Social Security and Medicare that Mitch McConnell keeps telling him to shut up about. I mean, we're going to do it.
Don't say the quiet part loud. It'll make me go back on my shell. Lozenges. So he has there. I mean, think about where Trump said all the fraud was. And now think of all the places that the Republicans are pulling money from because they know they don't have a shot.
Yeah.
And understand
I smell panic.
That also builds on the fact that he's lying specifically about Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Arizona, drastically lying about them because the trend is going that direction and there's nothing that's going to turn it around
Yeah.
Unless, the Republicans become different people in the next 2 years. And it's not going to happen because they're not allowed.
Yeah, even Charlie Pierce said, I'm being deluged with Republican emails, and not all of them from the former president begging for money. My laptop is endangered by a relentless tide of flop sweat. It does feel like panic. It feels like, oh my God.
And here's the best part about it. The panic is not that money isn't coming in from the grassroots. It is. It's just going straight down Trump's gullet and out his backside like Brazilian weasel coffee. And it is useless because he's paying his bills with it. He's keeping the lights on at Bedminster and Mar-a-Lago using the money from his it's the cash money. This is a man. He had to take $56 million from his brother and sister to keep the lights on in the Trump organization.
Yeah.
That was running money. That wasn't like, hey, we got a great investment opportunity. If I had this down payment, we could also blah, blah, blah. No, it was just because the light bill is due. Like I said, why don't y'all stop playing in my yard and go mess around somebody else's, like mess around in China. I know this person. I grew up across the road from this person in Kentucky.
In Kentucky. Listen, I love that even the portraits of him and Melania were paid for by a super PAC.
Right.
Right. Just like, oh my God, the grift just never ends. So the Trump and Melania will have their portraits for the Smithsonian. Those paintings will be paid for by a super PAC instead of by, of course, the former president, because he is a grifter who never pays for anything. And what do they need?
Yes,
one orange crayon? What do you need for a portrait?
Right, exactly. I will say that everybody's talking about he's going to declare. He's going to declare soon because he feels safe that if he's running, they'll leave him alone. No, they won't. You don't get to run for president just to avoid jail time. There's no law against arresting a candidate in this country. Otherwise, like everybody would run out of a bank going, "I'm running for mayor. I'm running for mayor." Like it's the stupidest. Anyway,
and by the way, they've already adjusted in right wing world. Who did we play the other day? That just said, well, he can run from prison. I mean, it's just lowered the bar.
That's the bar now.
Yeah,
that's the Law and Order Party.
Yeah.
He can run on the other side of the glunk glunk. Like you want to be before the glunk glunk, not after the glunk glunk, right? If he runs for office, he can only take, I think, $5,000 from his super PAC, and the rest of it he can't touch until the election once he declares.
Yeah.
Please. Please.
Yes. You've said this over and over. You think he is not going to declare.
No, he can't. And if he does, I guarantee he'll do it because he'll try it because he's desperate. He'll try anything. And then he'll have to pull out because his doctor says his health is waning and he can't run somewhere around the spring. So he can go back to getting super PAC money. Hopefully we can heal our president with the power of Jesus water. And, we'll go line up to lay your hands on Trump for just $12.
Oh my God, you're right. That will be the grift. I'm running. Give me money. Okay, I can't run now. Help me. I need medical funds.
That's exactly right.
Oh my God.
And it's so good.
Bill in New Jersey, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hey, Bill, welcome. Yes, I'll need your help. Thank you. Hi, Bill.
Hi. This person who called in and was upset about the student loan debt because he had to pay or whatever.
Yes.
That's sort of like slaves complaining about the end of slavery. And when I turned 65 and had to got free Medicare, and they said they're going to roll it back to 60, I was elated. I thought that's great because it cost me $50,000 in money for the last 5 years that I had to pay, and who should have to go through that? And the same thing with Social Security. Before FDR passed it, elderly, the leading cause of death was starvation and hypothermia.
Yeah.
And you'd have people complaining that the death stopped. It's
yeah.
And plus, the Obamas went into office with ending student debt, and their education secretary had student debt while he was in office.
Yeah, that's how long it takes to pay off student debt, just for those of you keeping track. Right? Obama still had it when they got to office.
Well, one of their cabinet people did. They didn't. They paid it off. But, again, one of Bernie's promises that Biden has tried to do the best he can within a narrow margin. The problem is if you eliminate student debt, you do not automatically make university free from now on. And the economic monkey wrench it throws into our education system without remedying it. It's kind of like UBI. UBI sounds like a great idea until you realize that in Los Angeles, the day UBI happens, rents will go up $1,000 a month because everybody's getting $1,000 a month. You must take other steps first, and one of them is either.
I'm sorry, I thought you said UTI, which is an entirely separate.
Yeah, that's a totally different thing. That costs.
That cleared up.
There's 1 bottle of cranberry juice. And done. Or whatever. Poured in whichever orifice.
That debt's been forgiven.
Stings the most. Anyways, so. But if what you have to do is you have to put in place rent control first. Then you can maybe think about doing UBI because it will prevent that immediate inflationary jackup in the bills people cannot refuse to pay, like rent.
Right.
So the same thing is true of student loan debt. The interest can be gone for people who were, past a certain point, but the baseline of it paid people's salaries, built schools, did stuff like that. It was money that went in for a reason, and evaporating it as if it was petroleum debt that BP didn't pay off is effectively wrong in the majority of voters' minds. It won't work.
Yeah, I think the caller it's just one of those people like, I didn't get that, so you shouldn't either. It's just, it's kind of the whole, I've got mine, screw you.
Well, again, there are a lot more of those people than you think, and the problem is that you're giving upper middle class people who didn't need the loan in the first place, took it so they had more cash on hand, and because you can get the loan for $40,000 and keep your $40,000, or you can pay your $40,000 to go to school. Most upper middle class people will keep their $40,000 and get a loan because it will pay off over time, and they know they can afford it, and whatever job they're going into over time will pay for it, and they know this. If you erase it, you give them a $40,000 head start on everybody else. That's how it works. It's not just that you're eliminating debt and you're taking the weight off. You have to do it universally. I believe in the Biden idea of means testing it. On certain industries that we have a shortage of, like nurses and other things, where you do it through a grant process that eliminates their student debt because of a need for teachers and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, but the idea of a hedge fund guy who's just carrying it because he can write off the interest in the loan and we just pay it off and all of a sudden he's got seed money, it seems weird.
Yeah.
That's what they're running up against. That's the wall that voters are, if you look at the polling about it, why they stomp the brakes on it.
You can see Hal live with all the sexy liberals. John Fugelsang and I, September 10th, and Glenn Kirschner, Carl Frisch, and a surprise draft picks to be named later.
Just assume it's a bevy.
Exactly. And then Chicago and LA, you can get all those tickets at sexyliberal.com.
Yep.
Hal,
true.
I think we named our tour Sexy Liberal Save Democracy Tour just in time in polling. That is a cool thing, isn't it? That threats to democracy has become the number one issue for voters in the midterm.
I have a question about this.
It's almost like we knew.
Yeah.
What was the exact question that was asked? Is Republicans, are they the threat to democracy, or are people afraid of a threat to democracy? Because the Republicans would say Democrats are a threat to democracy because we are communist, Marxist, socialists trying to take over.
Well, I do know that we've pulled way ahead in the generic polling and in a lot of races. And also...
Right.
Go ahead.
Yes.
I was just going to say, I'm just saying women. I don't think you can underestimate Roe.
I agree.
And the numbers are through the roof for women registering to vote.
Travis is right about one thing in that there is a generic, element of, people fear for democracy, fear for the quote unquote American way of life in that regard. Even on the right in some cases, in the same way that remember the ACA was incredibly unpopular, but when you looked at the numbers, it was like 50% of the people who didn't like it, it was 25 wanted it to go further.
Yeah.
That's not quite the same as hating it. And there's sort of a similar situation with Republicans. They fear for democracy, but not in a way that actually helps make it a functioning democracy. They fear that democracy will get away from them.
Yeah.
And that it will be rabble. That's why you keep hearing this. We're not a democracy, we're a republic stuff. We are a republic with a representational democracy. They're not mutually exclusive ideas. It is how we choose our leaders versus how we structure our state and federal government. They seem to want you to think, and Boebert does this all the time. Boebert's always on about that. Like that we're actually a republic. But we're a republic that's run as a democracy, dumb.
Yeah.
The DPRK is a republic.
I mean, this headline sums up everything the GOP has become. Kansas abortion foes will go door to door confronting voters after recount proves they lost. Again. Anti-choice activists threatened to carry out door-to-door investigation after a recount proved again that Kansas voters overwhelmingly backed an amendment to preserve abortion rights. It's a two-pronged attack, said one Democratic lawmaker. It's attacking our election system, and it's attacking specifically the counties that didn't vote the way they wanted them to. They're creating unnecessary work for our already overburdened election workers, and what I see is an effort to put democracy itself at risk. They're just sore losers. I mean, in every single instance.
Well, there's a bunch of, I did on my live stream at infotainmentwars.com. I did my live stream last night on Mike Pillow's new movie, Selection Film or whatever, .com, whatever. Anyways, it's real. He had a group there, and with one of these, another, second bite at this Cyberrama apple that he's been trying or whatever. Saying the same stuff in different packaging, and it really is based on this more that they just cannot believe they're on the wrong side of this. It is almost like there's a fuse missing in their head.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
So,
wasn't sure what's happening over there.
Coffee.
Oh, that was coffee just magically appeared in a giant Renaissance fair jug. Okay.
That's right.
Your wench obviously brought you that. Oh, good.
This is right.
Oh,
you should see how she's not dressed.
Well, hello.
She obviously wants me to be awake after the show.
Hello. Okay. Dennis Rodman is going to attempt to leverage his relationship with Vladimir Putin to obtain Brittany Griner's release, telling NBC he has secured permission to visit Russia. As you know, he's a good friend of Kim Jong-un. Okay. He pronounced Russian leader Vladimir Putin to be cool after a 2014 trip to Moscow. You know what? I'll take any useful idiot we can get to get Brittany Griner home. But
or they'll keep him.
Yes. Well, let's make a trade. You can keep him and give us Brittany Griner.
Swap him out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's Russia. They won't even be able to tell the difference. They're like, which one do we have? Right. We don't have a lot of these here. Which one did we let go?
We kept with the metal in his face.
Done.
Okay. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I hope it works. Guy's a lunatic. I'm more afraid for him than I am because it's different. At least Kim Jong-un wasn't actively engaged in a hot war. Specifically when when he was trying this nonsense and when he last met with Putin, same thing.
And by the way, we're concerned for our friend Malcolm Nance after this bombing in Ukraine. Yeah. I mean,
right.
The bombing was in Russia.
Yeah. I'm sorry, in Russia, but I know I was thinking of they did a parade in Ukraine yesterday of all the destroyed Russian tanks that they've captured.
Right.
Which was
right. Russia wanted a tank parade, and they got it.
Yeah, they got one.